I knew the moment her eyes swept over me, slow, dismissive, lingering a heartbeat too long, that trouble had found me. But I didn't expect that to be her first sentence. Could you take our coats? She said, flicking her wrist like she was shooing away an inconvenience. The help shouldn't just stand around. The room pin dropped around me. And that's how my evening began, the night I was mistaken for the waitstaff by the wife of the man whose entire career I had quietly built. Chapter 1. The Gala and the Gut Punch. The Astoria ballroom glittered with warm lights, gold accents, and the hum of money being casually breathed into the air. It was our company's annual gala, a night meant to celebrate growth, hard work, and the people who made it happen. I had arrived early, dressed in a simple black dress, hair swept back, no jewelry except the thin gold bracelet my late sister had given me. I hated being the center of attention. That was why I'd never publicly disclosed my identity as the silent partner and co-founder of Ridgewell Innovations. Let Jason, the public face, take the spotlight. He liked attention anyway. But as I stood near the coat check, sipping water, trying to gather courage to mingle, she appeared. Vanessa, Jason's wife, all perfect curls, expensive perfume, and a smile sharpened like a blade. She handed me her fur coat without waiting for confirmation. The weight of it slipped into my hands out of pure reflex. I froze. She mistook my silence for compliance. Good girl, she said, already walking off. That was the first crack in my restraint, just a crack. I hung her coat. I took a breath, and I reminded myself of the promise I made years ago. No matter how people see you, never let them define you. Tonight would test that promise more than I expected. Chapter 2, How I Became the Silent Partner. Years earlier, when Jason and I were fresh out of grad school, broke, hungry, and desperate, we had built Ridgewell Innovations in my tiny apartment. I had the algorithm and the patents. He had the charisma. Together, we made the perfect duo. But I wasn't good with crowds. Anxiety clawed at me any time I had to pitch. My voice shook and investors listened to confidence, not code. So I let Jason take the lead, and we agreed privately that I'd stay silent until I could handle the spotlight. But spotlight readiness never came. Years passed. Jason's ego grew. And eventually, people forgot I existed at all. I didn't mind until he started acting like I'd never existed, including, apparently to his wife. Chapter 3, Humiliation in Heels. Later that night, I carried a tray of champagne flutes toward a table when Vanessa intercepted me again, not realizing I wasn't staff. Finally, she snapped. I've been waiting ages for another drink. She plucked a flute off the tray and leaned closer. Her voice turned syrupy with condescension. You know, she said, this company takes a lot of pride in looking refined, so make sure you don't wander too close to the very important person tables. They can be intimidating for people like you. Something inside me twisted, not from anger yet, but from the familiar ache of being unseen. I opened my mouth to correct her, but before I could, Jason himself appeared, leaning down to kiss her cheek. There you are, babe, enjoying yourself? Trying to, she sighed dramatically, but the staff is slow. Jason barely spared me a glance. Did he truly not recognize me in a simple dress, or had he simply stopped, expecting to see me beside him? The humiliation stung, but humiliation is a powerful motivator, and fate, as if on cue, sent me the perfect opportunity. Chapter 4, the panel announcement. The CEO of our parent firm, Amelia Hart, stepped onto the stage, smiling warmly as the crowd quieted. Tonight, she announced, we celebrate not only our company's milestones, but also the brilliant minds who built its foundation. Vanessa leaned toward Jason. Is this about you again? Jason smirked. Probably. I almost laughed. Then Amelia continued, we'll be hearing from our CO founder, our silent partner, who has rarely appeared at public events until now. Every head turned, scanning the room. Vanessa frowned. Silent partner? Why haven't I heard of? Please welcome, Amelia said, the woman whose patents launched Ridgewell Innovations. Elena Rivera. My name echoed through the ballroom. Gasps followed. Jason's face drained of color. Vanessa went still, utterly beautifully still, as realization slammed into her. I stepped forward. The staff member holding my tray grinned and took it back, freeing my hands. The room opened before me like a path I had never dared to walk. My heels clicked softly against the marble as I approached the stage. I didn't look at Jason. I didn't need to. The silence around me felt like power. Taking back my voice, I reached the podium, my heart hammered, but the words surprisingly, came easily. Good evening, I said, and my voice didn't shake. Most of you don't know me, and that's partly my fault. The audience leaned in. When we started this company, I was afraid, afraid of being judged, afraid of standing out, afraid of being seen as less because I didn't fit the mold of a leader. My eyes drifted toward Vanessa. She looked away quickly. I let that fear silence me, but tonight is different. Tonight I choose to be visible. The applause swelled, warm and supportive. I continued speaking about the company's beginnings, my late sister who had inspired my work, the challenges of hiding behind my own brilliance, and the courage it took to stop being invisible. By the time I finished, the room stood for me, a standing ovation. The sound washed over me like a tide, lifting something heavy from my shoulders. Consequences. After the speech, Jason approached, tight-lipped, panicked. You blindsided me, he hissed quietly. No, I said, you blindsided yourself. You forgot the company had two founders. Vanessa stood behind him, cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She opened her mouth, closed it, then finally managed. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. You didn't ask, I said gently, not cruelly. And that makes all the difference, she nodded, eyes glistening. Later, Amelia pulled me aside with an offer. Take a larger public role, step into leadership, step out of the shadows. For the first time in years, I didn't hesitate. Yes, I said. I walked away from Jason's stunned expression without guilt. I had earned my place. In Chapter 7, the message I carried forward. Weeks passed. Jason stepped down from his public role, taking a smaller internal position, not out of punishment, but consequence. Arrogance has a cost. Vanessa, however, surprised me. She sent a handwritten letter, humble, genuine, apologetic. She asked to meet, not to justify, but to understand how she could be better. People can change when they want to. I forgave her, not because she deserved it at first, but because I deserved peace. I started leading panels, teaching young women in STEM, and for the first time, letting myself be seen. The final message, sometimes the world will underestimate you. Sometimes people will label you, diminish you, or overlook you entirely. And sometimes you will even do that to yourself. But visibility isn't about ego. It's about taking up the space your work has earned. It's about stepping forward even when your voice shakes. It's about refusing to let anyone, not even yourself, shrink your worth. Because being invisible doesn't protect you. Being invisible only makes it easier for others to write your story for you. So write it yourself, loudly, boldly, and unapologetically, just like I finally did.